Hey, what's happening YouTube? Welcome back to the show. Today I want to talk about Anthem. Now, if you're like me, you are massively anticipating this game, which I believe is only a few weeks away now, so that sounds pretty damn exciting and I can't wait to get my hands on it. Now, one of the things I want to talk about is something that that Michael Gamble said about Anthem that I think is worthwhile exploring a little bit in today's episode. Now, if you don't know who Michael Gamble is, he is the lead producer at Bioware and is obviously working on Anthem, the game itself. So that's pretty cool. Now, he's got a little bit of a pedigree in the whole world of gaming. He hails from Mass Effect fame, so he's got a little bit of a background and obviously knows his stuff when it comes to video game development. Now, the thing that I specifically want to talk about is he was asked a question about Anthem and whether it would have any sort of post-launch season pass or DLC, and he's come back and he said, no season pass, just the game, don't worry after that. Now, that's a little bit good, a little bit bad, and a little bit vague, all wrapped up into to one very sort of crafted statement right there. Now, no season pass, so that's good. So that means all players get the same content. Now, what it doesn't say is that there won't be any DLC. So there may be DLC content added in the future. So that's very interesting. And obviously the last statement that he's got there, don't worry after that. Now, I'm not 100% sure what that means, but usually when anyone says don't worry, the first thing you should do is worry. So look, I think as long as they get the balance right, you know, one of the things that consistently gives me the craps about a game like Call of Duty is the post-launch DLC for things like additional map packs and that sort of stuff really then starts to split the player base. So, you know, you have the have-nots and the haves when it comes to DLC. So, you know, those players that have gone and purchased all the DLC, well, they go off and they play in their own group. And the players that don't have the DLC, they're kind of stuck with that base game. And that kind of splits the playing base, which can be a little bit frustrating, particularly as the game starts to age. You know, you end up with two scenarios. One, essentially where there are a bunch of players who can't actually find matches simply because they are in the wrong player base. Now, if someone has gone and invested a massive amount of money and purchased all the DLC but can't find a game because the audience is fragmented, that's a stupid scenario right there. So it is pleasing to see that Anthem aren't going down that road. You know, every single player will have all of the content. But I think where this DLC question is a little bit vague and questionable is that, you know, they may add things like additional characters, characters that aren't available for the base game or base players. But certainly if someone wants to come in and purchase, you know, an additional character or mech suit or some sort of cosmetic for the game, well, to be honest, I've got no issue with that. You know, from my point of view, if someone's prepared to blow $20 on a character skin that has no direct, unfair advantage over any other player, then you know what? Knock yourselves out. I think that is a decent way for a developer to raise a little bit of additional income. Now, one of the things I like about Michael Gamble is that he does seem really open to answering community questions when it comes to the game Anthem. Now, I think that is a good thing. You know, transparency in anything we do helps gamers, helps the consumer of their product understand what they're going to get and what they're not going to get. So from my point of view, I think that's awesome. So there's a bunch of other questions that he got asked. Like, for example, if the game is played in private mode, does that mean it's offline? And Michael's come back and he said, nope, Anthem is online, even if private. We want to be able to control the world. So there you go. So it's an always online game. Now, I know that that kind of ruffles some feathers from time to time, but I think that's just the way of the future, particularly in these sort of massive open world, sort of perpetually existing games where things are impacted by other things going on in the world all at the same time. So from my point of view, that's not a bad thing, but I can appreciate that there are some scenarios where you may not necessarily want to be online or have the capacity to actually go online. So I can appreciate that that is frustrating for some gamers. Now, another thing that that he came back and gave some feedback on was something that I think also represents the future of gaming. He was asked, will the game have any cross-save between platforms? If not, any plans in the future? Now, he's gone and responded to that by saying, not at launch, but And there's a little emoji face there as well. So he's I think they're really thinking about that stuff, because obviously crossplay is step one. We have crossplay now between PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC, all that sort of stuff for games like Fortnite. But crossplay really hasn't kind of expanded beyond that, and I think the next evolution of crossplay is really to open that up to all games. You know, it'd be awesome to see crossplay not only in Anthem, definitely in games like Fortnite, where you've got a lot of kids on different platforms. But games like Call of Duty, you know, I would love to see a Call of Duty with crossplay, you know. I'd love to see an Xbox versus a PlayStation versus a Nintendo lobby. Something like that in the future I think would be phenomenal. Now, I'm not saying it'll ever happen, but I definitely think that would be something very, very worthwhile. So there you go, guys. Look, let me know in the comment section down below if you are planning to pick up Anthem on day one, or if you're planning to wait a couple of weeks just to see how this sort of game unfolds over the first few weeks of its life, you know, to iron out some of the bugs, the issues, the online, all that sort of stuff that seems to plague games these days. Anyway, guys, look, if you've liked today's video, please remember to smash that like button for me. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. And as always, guys, get involved in the conversation via the comment section down below. And I'll see you all in the next video.